Welcome back to Dan Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the movie Kidnapping Stella, released in the year 2019. In the beginning, two friends, Tom and Vic, are soundproofing their apartment before kidnapping a young woman named Stella. Bringing her back to their apartment, they chain her to the bed, gag her, and dress her in a red tracksuit before collecting her belongings to discard them and leaving the room. The next morning, Vic returns to torture Stella to get her wealthy father's contact details so they can ask him for ransom. Vic sends an email to her father but does not immediately receive a reply from him. Meanwhile, they take care of her needs, but Vic warns her not to scream and threatens to kill her if she tries anything. As Tom watches her over time, he becomes disillusioned with their decision to kidnap her, but Vic does not seem to care. As both are former convicts, Tom fears they will end up in prison again, but Vic assures him they have made a foolproof plan and no one will find out about their involvement in her abduction. After dinner, as Vic leaves the apartment to contact Stella's father again, Tom continues thinking about her. He visits her room, intending to comfort her, but changes his mind when she notices he's there. She asks him to let her use the bathroom, but attacks him as soon as he unties her from the bed, grabbing his gun and shooting at him. As Tom struggles to get his gun back, she removes his mask and identifies him as her ex-boyfriend. Looking at him in disbelief, she asks if he planned the entire thing, but Tom deflects by accusing her of ruining his life. Thinking he might still help her, she begs Tom to let her go, but he declines, saying their plan has just started and she won't be freed until they get their money. Tom urges her to return the gun, but as she refuses to obey, he attacks her, subduing her and tying her up again. While putting on the gag, Tom warns her not to disclose their relationship to Vic because if he finds out, he will kill her immediately. Soon, Vic comes back but informs her father is not willing to pay the ransom. Tom becomes worried about the situation, but Vic says he knows a way to force her father to pay. According to the plan, they visit her room again, where Vic removes her chains and informs her they are planning to execute Plan B, which is to cut her little finger off and record a video to send to her father. Despite her protests, Tom turns on the camera and Vic places the cutter around her finger while forcing her to record a message for her father. Having no other choice, Stella begs her father to do as they say, but also reveals she is 4 months pregnant. Although both are shocked by her revelation, Vic intends to proceed, but Tom stops him, thinking the video will be enough to convince her father. Vic accepts it and changes his mind as soon as they leave the room. He warns Tom not to interfere in his work again, or he will face the consequences. As they watch the video again, Vic thinks it'll work for them and appreciates Tom for selecting her as their victim. The next day, Stella refuses to eat anything and asks Vic to let Tom serve her instead, but he denies her and decides to do it himself. While he is busy with her, Tom spots the bullet shell on the floor and carefully tries to hide it, but Vic stops him from moving around the room. Stella also sees it and intentionally drops the spoon on the floor, enabling Tom to grab the shell while picking it up. After getting it back from Tom, Vic orders him to tie her up again before they leave together. Now becoming suspicious of his behavior, Vic questions him about it, but Tom implies he is just excited about the money and the new life it'll help them create. Although not completely satisfied with this explanation, Vic chooses to believe him as he has no evidence that he is lying. Vic then copies her photos from the computer and advises Tom to take care of her in his absence. Noticing his frustration, he assures Tom that all of this will be over in the next 2 days and they will be rich and free to do whatever they want. After Vic leaves, Tom accuses Stella of lying about her pregnancy. Seeing his disbelief, she asks him to feel for himself, but Tom still does not trust her and argues with her again. He asks why she did not tell him before, but Stella reveals she intentionally kept the news from him because he went to prison and she was not sure about their future. When she questions whether Vic knows about them, Tom informs her he has not mentioned anything and that he pretended he found out about her after reading a news article about her father. Tom reveals she fulfilled Vic's criteria as she is the only daughter of a wealthy family who can arrange enough money for their needs. As she fights with him for choosing her, Tom confesses he did it out of anger because she never visited him in prison. Stella then reminds him of his promise to give up criminal activities and how he didn't and eventually got arrested at her place, sharing that she realized he was not going to be a good father to their child and decided to stay away from him. Tom also shares their plan of starting a new life with her ransom money as he knows he won't be able to secure a job due to his criminal records, but her father is a selfish man who is not ready to pay a penny. As Tom once again demands an explanation about her pregnancy, she urges him to check the doctor's appointments from his phone. He thinks about confirming it, but changes his mind after realizing it might help the police track their location. Meanwhile, Stella, who is not yet ready to give up, pretends to throw up and lures him into the room where he unties her, but she tricks him and chains him to the bed instead. After a failed attempt to unlock the door, she uses one of their cell phones to call the police, but spots the keys on the floor right next to Tom's bed. Both attempt to distract each other, but Tom manages to free his hand and knocks her unconscious before restraining her again. After a while, Vic comes back with the news that Stella's father has finally agreed to deliver the money, but tells him that they will have to move her somewhere else from the apartment. Excited by the success of their plan, Vic admits he was nervous about it, but everything went smoothly and now they will be getting $4 million by the next day. Vic shares that he will use the money to go to Mexico and invites Tom to join him, but he politely declines. After the conversation, Tom thinks about getting rid of Stella's stuff, but finds her pregnancy records confirming that she was telling the truth. Meanwhile, Vic comes to Stella's room to take her with him, but gets furious after finding the cell phone in her pocket. Learning that a call to the police was made from the phone, he questions her about it, but she implies Tom did it as she is tied and can't do anything. Frustrated, as Vic slaps her, she accidentally calls Tom, alerting Vic that the two have been hiding something from him. Upon his question about their interaction, Stella tells him Tom only told her his first name to calm her down, but Vic does not believe her. While interrogating her, he also finds the bullet and asks her about how it ended up there. Unable to think of anything, Stella accepts she shot it at Tom during her failed escape attempt, and also that Tom is her ex-boyfriend. Shocked to hear this, Vic suspects Tom must have told his name to her. Although she denies it, he knocks her unconscious before leaving the room. When Tom comes back later, Vic does not reveal anything about his interaction with Stella and simply asks why he selected her for their plan. He also gives Tom another chance by asking if he is honest with him, but Tom lies again. Still keeping it to himself, Vic gives her anesthesia before they take her to a van to move her to a new location. Upon arriving at their second hiding spot, a boathouse, they remove their masks and chain her when Tom finds out about her injury but does not say anything to Vic. He then commands Tom to hand over his keys and orders him to accompany him to get the money from her father. As the original plan involved Tom staying with Stella, Tom disagrees, but Vic convinces him to join by saying he wants him there in case something unexpected happens. Tom worries that if they don't make it back, Stella will die at the boathouse, but Vic does not care and urges Tom that he should not either. He further suggests they should kill her after taking the money because if she stays alive, there will always be a risk that she might identify their voices. Tom unwillingly agrees to his suggestion and they exit the boathouse, leaving her behind. Vic leads him to the middle of the forest and asks him to get the money, which he hints is buried in the ground. As Tom acts upon his orders, he soon realizes it was all a trap, as Vic reveals he sent different coordinates to her father. Vic points a gun at him to punish him for his betrayal. Tom begs him to spare his life, saying he does not have to do it because they will be going their separate ways after getting the money, but Vic says he must face the consequences of his deception. Tom tries to run away, but is shot by Vic. Vic then goes back to the van where he finds Stella's phone and throws it into the lake before driving away. He also gets the money from Stella's father and comes back to the boathouse to kill her. He intends to poison her, but an injured Tom shows up just in time to save her. Vic shoots at Tom again, but Stella helps him snatch the gun from him. Tom eventually kills Vic before getting the keys and handing them over to Stella to free herself. Stella rushes to Tom, but realizes he is taking his last breath and won't be able to survive. As Tom lies there exhausted, Stella leaves the boathouse and gets into Vic's car parked outside. On the passenger seat, she also finds the money they got from her father and thinks about using it to start a new life with her child. Thanks for watching this video. We'd like to thank all of you for the support you've given us throughout this journey, and to show our appreciation, we're giving away some brand new iPhones. So if you want to enter our iPhone giveaway, all you have to do is follow the steps in the description below and claim your iPhone. Subscribe for more content like this and leave a like to help the channel out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Take care.